Class, we will be picking up starting on tutorial 2.2. In the previous tutorial, we covered creating a table in Design View, looking at how to assign a primary key, how to change the specific properties. So in tutorial 2.2, we will look at importing data from an Excel worksheet. We will create a table by importing an existing table structure. We will add those to a table with the data type gallery. We will delete and rename fields. We will change the data type for a field in Design View. We will set the default value property. We will add data to a table by importing a text file. And we will define a relationship between two tables. So basically the joining of the tables, defining that relationship is what will allow you to pull data from the two tables. So if you go to your textbook, we will start on page 78. We will be looking at adding records to a new table. So if you can open up your Chatham database that we had used previously for 2.1. All right, we're going to double click and open our billings table. In step 3, basically, it's just telling us to close our navigation pane to give us more room. That's totally up to you. It's just a reminder that depending on the size of your table, if you need additional space, you always have the option to close the navigation pane. Alright, so in invoice num column, we're going to type in 35801, press the tab key, our visit ID is going to be 1527. We're going to tab over to the visit invoice date. And there we're going to type in 11/10/16. Our amount is going to be $100. So if you just type 100, it will put in your decimal places. We're going to type in August visit. Alright, and again, you can use your space bar to check or uncheck a box. So we're going to select check, so that means the invoice has been paid. On page 79, we're going to look at, so we're supposed to refer to, hang on a second, we're referring to, if you go back to page 78, figure 221, so we need to add those additional records there. So we will add the 3 additional records. So 25818. 1536, 1118, $100. Let's do that. Check. 2575, 1570, 0112, 2016. $85. Pharmacy. No check. And I have to make a correction here. I was typing in the 230. Alright, then 25851. 1550. Correct. 15. $85, and a check. Alright, next what we're going to do is look at importing data from an Excel worksheet. Again, under external data, you have options to import a variety of information. So we're going to look at importing that information from an Excel. So we're going to close billing. Alright, next for our external data, again select your external ribbon here in Access. We're going to select Excel. And from here you should have a specific file that you need, which is the invoices. that is saved under your course. It is saved under course data file, so you just need to download that. So here, we've selected Excel. Our dialog box that comes up wants us to specify where that specific file is. So we're going to select Browse, and depending on where you save it at, you have to find that file. I have it saved under my network settings. Alright, so select Invoices, select Open. Alright, once you have your specific file location, next you have a couple of options. So from here, based on our textbook, what we want to do is we're going to append. Append basically means that we're going to add it to a table that already exists. So basically, it's only capturing the data. It's not capturing any of the fields because they should be exactly the same. Once you select append a copy, then you have to actually specify if you have more than one table, what table you want that information to be appended to. So we're going to make sure it says billing, and then we're going to select OK. Next, it gives you kind of an overview of the information that will be imported. Here is where you really need to confirm that based on the table that you've created, that these are the same exact fields and that they are in the same location. Otherwise, you're going to append information that may not match your table. Okay? So we're going to select Next. Alright, we're going to import to the billing table, and we're going to select Finish. We're going to select Close. Now if we go back and open billing, you can now see that we have a total of 204 records. Okay, we already had 4, so we added 200. Okay. So basically, again, this is an overview. We had closed billing, we had 4 records. We selected the external data ribbon. We selected Excel. We browsed to the specific file location. We selected append a copy because all we want to do is capture the data. We selected the appropriate table. Okay. And then we selected OK. And then it gave us a preview that we had to confirm. We selected Next, make sure this was appropriate, and I'm going to select Cancel here because we've already done it. But those are your basic steps for importing information from an Excel table. Okay. Next, what we want to do, so we have billing closed, we're going to create a table by importing an existing table structure. So basically what we want to capture are the fields that are there, not necessarily the data that exists. Okay. So we're going to create the patient table by importing the structure from another table, and this is at the bottom of page 84. So again, on the external ribbon, we are going to select here under the import and link. We're going to select the access button here, just on the right side of Excel. Same basic dialog box. There are a few different options here. Again, we have to browse to the specific locations that we want to pull the information from. And the specific database that we're going to be pulling the structure from is Kelly. So wherever you save that information, it is listed under your course data files. You're going to select Kelly. You're going to select Open. And then here you have to decide if you want to import tables, queries, forms, reports, macros, and modules into your current database or link to the data source by creating a linked table. So here we're going to make sure the first radio button here is selected. We're going to select OK. And then you're going to get this dialog box. So import objects. So what we want to do is select your patient, and then you're going to select options here at the bottom right. This gives you the ability to specifically identify what it is you want to pull from that database. Alright, so here we are going to, for import tables, definition only. That means it will only capture the structure. Okay, we're going to select OK. And then we're going to select close. You can now see that we actually have a new table called patient. So if we open patient by double clicking, you can see that it captured the actual fields that were in the database tally. Okay. All right, so next we're going to look at adding fields to a table using the data type gallery. And basically what the data type gallery does is some commonly used things. So in your book it gives the example of the address quick start selection. So typically with an address you have your street, your mailing address, so the actual house address, the state, zip, things of that nature, country. And so it kind of groups those together because there's a common field. So what we want to do is we're going to click on the first row in the email field. All right, and then what we're going to do, we're going to go back to our, so here under the contextual tabs for table tools, we're going to select fields. So again, once we select it on the table, these contextual tabs are available. We select a field, and then here under add and delete. Now we have previously gone over the specific fields that you can add, but there is a more field selected here. So there's your drop-down menu. From there, if you go down, here is where your quick start selections are. And what we want to do, we're going to select address. Okay? So what you can see that did was it added address, city, state, and zip and country. Okay? And then all it did was just insert those into the field that you already had. Next, we're going to look at modifying the imported table. So we're going to be deleting fields from the table structure. So we want to select country and region, which is currently highlighted, and then we're going to select the delete button. So again, here under add and delete, there's the option here to delete. So we selected delete, and it removed the country and region. Okay, so basically any field that you add, you always have the option to delete here from your ribbon under the contextual tab under field. You also have the option to right click and delete that field as well. So there's always multiple options inside of Access as well as any of the other Office products. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to delete a field in Design View. Again, remember this is Datasheet View. We're going to go over to the left under File, and we're going to change our view to Design View. All right, we're going to click in the Title field. All right, from here, again, you have a new, you have a contextual tab, and then from here, what we want to do is we're going to delete rows. So that's also an option. You can delete from Datasheet View as well as Design View. All right, so next we're going to click and hold our mouse down for field. For the field, and then drag the mouse and select the page. So what we're going to do is select multiples. So we're going to click, and then we're going to highlight county and also notes. All right, that means that we've selected those three. Basically, it's just like anything else you do when you're trying to highlight multiple fields. Then we're going to again select delete rows. Okay, so you can do multiple rows at one time as well. All right, next we're going to rename fields in Design View. So we're going to click enter for the state and Providence. All right, and what we're going to do is just actually remove Providence. So all we want there is state. Okay, and then for zip postal, we're going to take out postal. Okay. Alright, next we're going to look to change the data type for phone in Design View. So we're going to click on the right side of the data type. So again, we are on the phone field here. So again, you have to drop down in there to change your data type, and we're going to change it to short text. Alright, from here, again, the default is 265. And our field size should be 14. So again, remember your shortcut key to get down to the field properties is F6. And we're going to change this to 14. So that means that it will only allow 14 characters for the actual phone. Okay? Next, we're going to change the field size and caption properties for the field for address. So if we go to address, we're going to select F6 to take us down to the field properties. We're going to change our field size to 35. We're going to tab down until we get to the caption. And we're going to make sure that we delete that so we don't need anything there. Now we're going to repeat this for steps 1 through 3 for the city. So for city, again, F6. We're going to change our field size to 25, and we're going to delete caption. Now, the reason we are deleting the caption for address and city, it's not based on keywords, so it really makes no sense to have a caption. Caption just gives you the ability to have like a display name, so you can put a space between two words. Okay. All right, we're going to change it for state. So again, state. We're going to change the field size to 2. Okay. And then again, we're going to delete the caption. All right, for zip, we're going to change it to 10. Again, we're also going to change the caption. We're going to delete so there's no caption. And then here on our quick access toolbar, we're going to select save. Okay. Next, we're going to enter a description and caption properties for the following fields. So for patient ID, we're going to type in primary key. And again, remember, typing in the description does not necessarily make it the primary key. But you can see from here that it already is listed as one. But if it was not listed, then you always have the option to select it as a primary key here under the contextual table tools under design. Okay. All right, next, for the caption for this, so if we go back to patient ID, we're going to go down to caption. And what we want to put in here is going to be patient ID. All right, we're going to select last name. Okay, so for our caption for last name, we're going to pick from last name. First, we're going to do the caption. And you're just making sure that you have spaces. And then we're also going to do it for birth date. So for our caption, we're actually going to type in date and birth. Alright, so we're going to select save on our quick access toolbar. Alright, and then we're going to change our view. So we go back again to data sheet view. And you can see based on the caption, that's where we get the spaces here. But the actual field name has no spaces. That's only based off of the caption that we created for that. Alright, again, if you select our table selector and select anywhere, so as long as you have the arrow to the right on the left double click, it gives the appropriate spacing for your field. Next, we're going to look at setting the default value property for a field. And basically, this is a field that specifies what values will appear by default. So we live in North Carolina, so typically anytime you're putting in information. So if you were, I would say, so like the electric company, if their members are from North Carolina, by default, you would say North Carolina. You wouldn't really have any addresses outside of that area, so you can set a default value. Okay, so again, we're going to go back into Design View, and then we're going to click on State. Okay, so State here in the fuel properties, we have here the default value. So for the default value, we're going to pass in CT for Connecticut. Okay, and that's listed again on page 94. All right, we're going to select Save. And then we're going to change our view back to back to the data sheet view, and you can see by default it already has that specific value. That does not mean you cannot change it. It just assumes that your default value here will always be Connecticut. Okay? So on page 95, we're going to add two records. So for patient ID, and here we're just going to put your name, your last name, your first name. And then you can just use the information that's in the book as far as birth date and all the additional information. We're just putting your name there. Okay, phone number. Okay, our next record, 523, love, 12/5/1941, 860, 552, 5920, 27, 22, again, Connecticut is the default. 060095 Again, because you can't see your information, you select your row table selector, and then select between any of the columns, double clicking, and that will give you the appropriate spacing. So now we're going to look at adding data to our table by importing a specific text file. So again, we are going to go ahead and close our table. So we're going to select yes to save. So we're going to go under our external data tab again, or ribbon, and we're on page 96. So again, under import and link, now we're going to select a text file. Again, we have to find the specific location. All right, so you should be looking for patient. All right, so when we select patient, we're going to select open. And I know a couple people have had issues with the file that's on Blackboard. So what you will need to do is right-click on that file. So if you just select the file, all it's going to do is open up and show you the information that's there in a web page. So if you right-click on that specific file, and let's see if I can give you an example. Hold on one second. So, if we look for patient, okay, so here, what you need to do, so if you just select it, this is the information you're going to get, and that's not what you need. So what you want to do is you're going to right-click on that file, and then depending on your browser, this is Chrome that I'm using, so it says Save Link As. So if you select that, it's going to give you an option to save it. It has to be saved as a text file until you save it. If you're in another browser, it could have Save Target As, but basically you need to right-click and save the file so you can download it appropriately. So again, we're going to select Browse, we're going to select Patient, we're going to select Open, Okay, again, we have options here for what we want to do. Because we already have an existing table, what we're going to do is we're going to append and we're going to tell it to select patient. So we want to make sure it's on the correct table. So again, it should be patient. We're going to select the case. Again, it kind of shows us the information. So basically in the text file, your information is separated by commas. It still, again, it has to be the same format. It has to have the same field that your table does. Okay? We're going to make sure that it's on delimited. So that it's separated by a comma. We're going to select next. Okay, again, our information, you can look at the file if you need to by just double clicking on it, pressing that it's separated by a comma. We're going to select next. Alright, we're going to import to the patient table and we're going to select finish. Again, we're going to select close. So now if we go and view our patient table, you can see we had 2 records to begin with. And if you go back to the text, they were basically the 22500 and 22533. 22533 is right here. So again, remember, it sorts your information, so when we imported those records, it added these additional. Okay, you can now see that we should have a total of 51. And it imported all of our information. So one thing that you may have done, if you did not delete the information that you were supposed to, such as the country, and then also the fields at the end, you may have additional records, okay? So it's important that you delete the specific records that the tutorial asks you to. Okay, and then looking at page 98, we're going to be defining the table relationships. So basically what it means is we're going to join the tables because they have some identifier that is common. Okay, and if you look at page 98 and figure 240, basically it shows you, so if you look at the patient table and you look at the visit table, the record that they have in common is the patient ID. So in the patient table, the patient ID is the primary key. And the visit table, the patient ID is a foreign key, okay? So we can join those two together because they have that common information, and then that way it links and joins those tables together. So if you're pulling information, it sees those tables as one because you've joined them. They now have a relationship, and so they are basically linked. At the bottom of page 98, it talks about a one-to-many relationship that exists. And basically that means that one to-many relationship exists between 2 tables when one record in the first table matches 0, 1, or many records in the second table, and one record in the second table matches at most one record in the first table. It also talks about referential integrity, and it is a set of rules that Access enforces to maintain consistency between related tables when you update data. So basically, it makes sure that when you make any changes, that information is updated so those tables that are joined remain consistent. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and close patient. We are going to define a one-to-many relationship between patient and visit. Okay, so under table tools, now we're on a different ribbon. So we're on database tools. Under relationships is the relationships button. So if we select that, it basically gives us the tables that we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to add patient. So you can select patient and click add, or you can double click. Okay, so we'll select add here. Next, we're going to select visit, and again, if you double click, it adds that table. Okay, if you for some reason add too many, so if I do this, I can just select that specific table and select delete. Okay, so if you add too many by mistake, you can just select it and then select the delete on your keyboard, and it will remove that extra table that you have. Alright, so next what we want to do is we're going to click on Patient ID, in our patient table, and then we're going to drag it on top of the patient ID on our visit. Once you do that, it's going to bring up this Edit Relationships dialog box. Confirm that you have patient and patient ID, visit and patient ID here as well. We're going to enforce referential integrity, and then we also want to cascade update to related fields. Okay, so once you drag patient ID on top of patient ID for visit, it will bring up this dialog box. You need to confirm that these match. You also want to check the enforce referential integrity and also cascade update related fields. And then you're going to select create. Alright, so basically the way to understand the one-to-many, there is only one patient ID, so there's only one person, but they could have multiple visits. So that's why it's one-to-many. Okay? Again, there is only one patient, there's only one you, but you may have made multiple visits, so that's why one-to-many. Okay? The one-to-many, you can see, is reflected here by 1 to your infinity sign, and it's also in bold. Alright, so we're also going to define the relationship between visit and billing. Alright, so again, here we're going to select Show Table. That will show us the tables that we have available, as well as queries and some other things. We will not get into those. So we're going to add billing. We're going to close this. And now what we want to do is we're going to drag Visit ID, which is the primary key in Visit, and you can see that these two, so your tables have to have something in common to link them. So we're going to drag Visit ID on top of billing Visit ID. Again, you have the same relationship here. You need to confirm that these match. You're going to enforce referential integrity and also cascade update related fields. And you're going to select create. Again, you have one visit ID. So each time you visit, you have that one specific date and time, but you could have multiple billing records based on different things there as well. Okay, again, so one-to-many relationship. All right, so on page 103, you can actually see what your relationships look like. One thing to note here, so like patient, you don't see all of the fields, so if you put your mouse at the bottom, you should be able to drag it so you can see all the fields that are there, okay? So just make sure as you're drawing your relationships that you actually drag out your box so you can see all of your information there. All right, so we're going to save on the Quick Access toolbar. We're going to select Close. It's recommending that we do a contact and repair that we had done previously. So again, if you select File, here under Info is Contact and Repair. None of your tables or queries or forms can be opened, and at that point it is complete.